Hello, I'm going to try this one more time. I think it's my third time trying. I'm going to show you my 3 journals for the August Dear Julie Julie Journal Challenge. Let me make sure I am down low enough. Okay, so I'm going to start with the biggest one and then move forward. They're all the same but different. What I did was I made all of my ephemera first, put it into packets, and then made the journal. So they're not in the same order or anything. I probably did that wrong, but that's what I did, just to make my life a little easier, because to have 3 out at the same time was just too much. So here is the first one. This book here, the actual innards that were in the book were what I used to make the images that are found throughout. That and the Dear Julie Julie images are pretty much the only images you're going to see in here, other than some of the things I bought from the Dollar Tree. So the challenge was to use $21 items from any dollar store or dollar spot or dollar area. Everything that I used did come from Dollar Tree except for the fabric on the spines came from Walmart. It's the $1 quilt, what's it called? Yeah, fat quarter. And it was actually on clearance for 50 cents. But I had different fabric I had chosen, but it just didn't mesh. But this actually came out perfect. When I saw this in the bottom of my fabric bin, I was like, that's the one right there. So I had to do that after I made all the ephemera and everything. Then my mind was ready to pick the fabric. I couldn't pick it ahead of time. It just wasn't working. So this ribbon came from the Dollar Tree. It's cut in half. I learned that trick from Julie and I love it. I made the front with a little piece of snippet and a large butterfly. Inside each of the journals, I like to always have a library card. So inside each of these is a hidden journaling card. And on each of my hidden journaling cards, there are 9 hidden journaling cards. I have 9 clusters, and each of the journaling cards has a cluster. So all 3 of this journaling card have this cluster. All 3 of the manila ones have the same cluster, and all 3 of the other ones have the same cluster. This is a ready edge. In this journal, I use the ready edge on the first page of each signature, and I use the ready tab on the last page of each signature. Here, I just took a piece of my snippet. We had to create the actual ephemera, and then we had a snippet roll that was left over, and we had 3 master boards that were left over. So I used the snippet throughout the journals after I was finished, and the master boards I actually ripped into like journaling cards / tags, whatever you want to call them, and put them throughout the journals as well. So all of my papers, this is from a composition book. We were allowed several other papers. This is one of them, is the ledger paper. This was one of my dollar store items, was a notebook colored paper. This was one of the allowable items. It's a agenda page or calendar page was the requirement. I made a corner tuck, and I put a journaling card inside, and then this is a piece of the master board. And then this is my belly band, and these belly bands were actually made from a snippet roll. I originally made a snippet roll, and in my mind, I heard Julie say you can use your snippet roll throughout your journal for your ephemera. So I did. Then I remembered, no, she didn't. She said you could use your clusters on your ephemera. So snippet roll went here. And I had to make another snippet roll. So I made 2 snippet rolls. That's the point of that story. And this is a file card. I just stuck some cutouts from the book. I cut all kinds of pictures from the book. I still have a whole stack of pictures from the book that still can be used. This came from the book too. It's so pretty. And this is my scrapbook paper that I was allowed. And my orange butterflies and my blue butterflies. This is a coloring book that was from the Dollar Tree. Imaginary Cities, a doily from the Dollar Tree. More paper. a hidden paper clip, and this is my first time making one like this, and I love it. I think I'm going to continue to make these. And on the front, I made a little cluster of my own, and I used the Dear Julie Julie ephemera. I made a little envelope with a little card in it. I think it's actually a library pocket with a card. And I wrote the word create. And it's holding a piece of masterboard, one of my envelope ephemera, with a piece of masterboard inside. And it's white on the back, so you can use it for a journaling card. So that's what I liked about that. And a tag with a job. His job is to be a notepad. Put that back on there. Oh. I had an idea too for these paper clips to make one long piece and like fold it and then attach it here. I'm going to try that. That way it doesn't have that lip. That drives me crazy. Okay, some more paper. This is one of the we got to choose to make 9 of our own favorite ephemera. So my favorite, one of them, I made 3 of these, 3 of each. One of them is this hidden journaling spot card thing. And these were actually the first thing that I started making. I don't even know where I got the idea from, but they're one of the very first things I started making when I started making junk journaling ephemera. I started with the ephemera before I started with the actual journals. And there's my ready tab. I love the colors, how they turned out. Oh, and this is from the Dollar Tree. Cute little paper clip with a little pom-pom. Another ready edge. And in this one, I sandwiched my envelope between the ready edge and the sheet of paper and glued it down. And this is one of the My Choice ephemera as well. And I used a security envelope, a piece of snippet roll, and made a little pocket that flips out. And then this is a tag with a job. His job is to hold a picture. And that image came from the Imagination Illustrated book. And then you close it. Looks neat. Okay. This was one of the envelope ephemera. I made a bifold little booklet thing, and I glued it right on and made a pocket. And I just put little images inside the pockets. Another one of those Dollar Tree paper clips, and I just put a piece of masterboard and a playing card. Noisy paper. Dictionary was one of my dollar store items. Cute journaling card. And I made a top tuck. Butterfly. Another one of those paper clips, and I just clipped a piece of an image under there. And one of the file cards. And I hand doodled on the back. Alright, and this is one of my chosen ephemera as well. And it's the trifold pocket. This is like probably my very favorite item to make. I don't know why, but I just love making these. And I love making them different ways. And I just put some cutouts in there. And another one of those paper clips. And this is my favorite image of the whole book. I don't know what it is. I think it might be that green and that pink. I don't know. He's so cute to me. Another ready tab. And this is the third and final signature. I made them each 3 signatures because I wanted to avoid the alligator mouth. So I decided, I usually do a 5 signature journal, but this time I decided to go ahead and just make a 3 signature. So I had plenty of room to hold all of the goodies inside. And then whenever someone's using it for a journal, they have plenty of room to put things where it's not going to alligator mouth on them. And right now it's like perfectly flat. And I put no closure. I just noticed no closure on any of my journals. And I've been putting closures on my journals, but these didn't need them. I don't know. They were perfect. Another hidden paper clip and masterboard. I made like a little note thing and just a piece of masterboard and ready edge. There's the front of the paper clip and has a little note in it. And this is one of my favorite of the file cards. I made it into like a little file folder, and then when you open it, it's got sticky notes inside. And I thought about that because I was thinking about my own journaling and how I wish I had somewhere to keep some sticky notes, and I was doing this, and I'm like, oh, that's a perfect place to keep sticky notes. This was supposed to be an envelope tuck. One of them I did correctly. The other two I glued shut. So he's just a decoration now. Envelope decoration. Coloring book page. My graph paper. And a piece of masterboard. A tuck. And then here's another hidden journaling card with one of my clusters. And if we used the cluster, we had to, it only counted as one thing. We'd do two other things. So like I used inking around the edge, and then I added the tab. That's my 3 things, just in case you're wondering. Piece of Dear Julie Julie digital. And it's so funny to me how when I see the Dear Julie Julie digitals, and I'm like, how am I going to incorporate that into my style? And I always, I noticed in the journals I made with her images for her challenges, I always go like totally opposite, but it works out so well. Like I always go like totally bright colors and mixed up stuff, and they're like my favorite journals when I'm finished. So she inspired me to make the journals that are like my favorite, the more artistic looking ones. And for some reason I always use the same paper pad too. I don't know why. Now the last one I didn't, but this is the second time I've used this paper pad in 3 challenges. Journaling card and another belly band, and I just cut that out and hand wrote that. Blue butterfly. This is one of the tags with the job. He opens up. And I noticed with this one too, like my tags all have paper tabs this time around. I didn't even do any ribbon tabs or anything. But it works. Everything worked together so well. I'm very proud of this journal. And the last hidden journal card here. And on it I just stamped an empty journal in the back still, but I just thought it needed something. Plus I needed the 3 things. So that's one of the 3 things that I added to it. And it's inked. One of my tabs. And I love the way they came out too. And once again, I used the Jim Henson images, and I used my circle punch, and I made a lot of little decorations like that. And they turned out so cute. And it's the back. And that is journal number 1. So I can go through journal number 2 and 3 pretty quickly because they're very similar, a little bit different. This book cover actually came from a book that I just finished, and I wasn't that impressed with it, like the book, so I junked it. I didn't want to donate it. I threw it away. So this was trash, so I was allowed to use this cover because it's trash. Once again, I used the same fabric, same ribbon, and this time I made my little cover decoration. Oh, and it feels like oily. It's weird. It has a weird texture. I loved it. And that's why I didn't want to throw away the cover. I used Dear Julie Julie images. This is a piece of the masterboard, but see how it like came apart here? I love it. It just gave it that perfect look. And then I kind of distressed it with ink, and I distressed it with my side of my scissors, and that's kind of pulled it up. Then I glued another piece of the other masterboard on top, and then I put a butterfly and a pearl. Okay, so once again, in lieu of a library card, I put a hidden journal pocket, and they're all 3 Muppet babies too. I put the tabs on the front this time, and the ready edges on the back this time of each signature. There's my belly band, my 3 pocket, and how I did the paper, if you're wondering, because they're all different sizes, I actually chose the paper and put the paper together first for all 3. They were all 3 the size of the first journal. Then when I got to the journal, I just cut it down to the size of the journal before I sewed it together, and it turned out like perfect. Like I love the way it turned out. Okay, so this is the one I did correctly. That's what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be a tuck spot. So it's just a piece of the masterboard, and this is one of my little journaling cards. And as you see, it's not as much variation in the size of the paper because the book is smaller, but it just, I don't know, I love it. I love the way it came out. Another one of the cards, another tuck spot. This was a piece of the first snippet roll. No, this is a piece of my actual snippet roll, and I added that to it. Hidden journaling card. And then because I had to cut the envelope, I just went back and glued it with glue. Put it back together. This is my tag with the job. And my clip. My ready edge. See, even the edges turned out perfect. I just made sure when I glued it, because I glued it on afterwards, I just made sure when I glued it on that I trimmed the top and the bottom so that everything still shows. This is my, oh, it's hooked around. This is my other tag, and then I used one of those Dollar Tree paper clips. And a tuck spot, and I have this one chock full of stuff, don't I? Goodness, what in the world? Did I glue it in? Okay. Well, he might be permanent. How in the world did I do that? Okay, well, I'll get to that later. I just made a tag out of a piece of the master board and stuck it in there. I'll have to get him out later. Okay. Butterfly in the middle of every middle signature. Hidden paper clip. This is just a piece out of the book, but it's like a ticket. I thought that was so cute. Oh, and this is, I love these envelopes here because like when it's hooked here, all you see is the Dear Julie Julie image, and the scrapbook paper's kind of toned down, and then you pull it open and you see her. Woo! And in each one, it's just, this is a piece of the book page. Some of them are a piece of the master board. I just stuck something in there. But at first I was like, oh, you don't get to see the pretty image. But then it was like, oh, wait. When you open it, you get to see it. And it's just like a surprise. So I like that. That hidden journal card. Ready edge. Ready tab. The double pocket envelope. Some more images just tucked into a paper clip. My tag with the job, notebook, notepad, same old stuff. Go. That and that. Alright. And this one I actually turned into a tuck. So. And then there's that, and I just put a piece of the scrapbook paper left over in that. Okay, and book number 3. Hope I wasn't too low this time. Last time I was too high. Okay. So, Muppet Babies again. This is probably my favorite, the way it feels, like the size and everything. And this is a Reader's Digest book. I had gotten a few of them at my Last Chance Goodwill for 25 cents. And the spine was like messed up, so it was perfect to do for here. So because the spine was messed up, I considered it trash. So it's a trash cover. And I did the cover a little bit different on this one. I just took some scraps. Okay, so there's Muppet Babies. There's my Ready Edge. And this one's even smaller, so everything got cut a little bit smaller. So it's a little bit more compact. It's just so neat how 3 of the exact same things can turn out looking so different just for the size. Okay. Go quickly through this one. You've seen everything pretty much already. That's so cute to me. Alright. There's a triple pocket. And then behind the triple pocket, I made it into another pocket and put that one. There's the sticky note holder. This piece of ephemera. Another journal card. Another hidden journal card. Another paper clip. An image, piece of masterboard. I actually had planned on using one of the masterboards as pages in the journals, and I didn't do it. And by the time I was done, I realized I didn't do it. This is probably my favorite edge, the butterfly one with the blue. Oh, and I love that image too. I love so many of these images. And the funny thing is, when I make these books using these artsy books as my basis, I come to appreciate the art in the books. Like the flowers book, like I really came to appreciate the artwork more after I played with it. And the Jim Henson as well. Like it's like I can see it better because I'm playing with it. I don't know. It's my note tag, my journal card, ready edge, and the end. So there are my 3 journals for my August challenge, and I'm looking forward to seeing what September has to bring us. So ta-ta for now.